To find peace, he will lose it. Let's talk about The Punisher, One Last Kill. As this is the newest Marvel special presentation, being part of the MCU's Phase 6, as it is about as Frank searches for the meaning beyond revenge, an unexpected force pulls him back into the light. And with how this Punisher project was, it was pretty brutal. But we do see Jon Bernthal come back as the Punisher, Frank Castle, and once again he does great in the role, as this time we see it explore more of his PTSD, seeing it explore his guilt, and I do think that it did great exploring all that. Exploring what he is going through mentally, as Jon Bernthal just did amazing in those scenes. There is just a lot of mental scenes going on, to which his portrayal was great. But once we get the brutal stuff happening, we pretty much see Jon Bernthal go into full Punisher mode, as it just kicks into high gear action, and that was just amazing to watch on screen. This has some of the best action in the MCU, as this is probably the MCU's most darkest project yet. Like, there is something that happens in the very beginning that is much worse than what Thanos did. With how this special was, it felt super grounded, as it does have its connections to Daredevil Born Again, the Punisher Netflix series, the original Daredevil series, as in a way it did feel a little bit like a rehash. But one thing that I noticed about this is how this is very similar to the Punisher short film with Thomas Jane, Dirty Laundry, as it did feel like there were some vibes from previous Punisher projects. It felt like there were vibes from the Thomas Jane Punisher film, with how some of the antagonists were acting in this did remind me of Punisher Warzone. Story-wise did remind me of Punisher Dirty Laundry, and it of course had its references to the previous MCU Punisher appearances. With this special, how it did explore Frank's mental state, PTSD, then kicking into high gear action was really good. But really my main gripe about this is that I wish it was longer. Without the credits, it is about 45 minutes. With this, it should have been an hour, over an hour. It really needed to be much longer. But in a way, it did feel like just to reintroduce us to Frank before the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I think that worked. It felt like it was to remind us who the Punisher is, but at the same time, this did feel like it was like a setting stone to do something more with the Punisher in the future, whether it's its own movie, more specials, or his own new series. Another gripe I have with this is that it feels like it is another origin story to the Punisher. The MCU timeline is now pretty much in 2027, I believe, and at that point, Frank pretty much been the Punisher on and off for 10 years, and when we think that he's starting to become the Punisher to fully embrace it, it just switches back. So even though we have seen that plenty of times already, this does feel like it's putting an end to that, and hopefully so. But with the Punisher One Last Kill, it was such a brutal special presentation. Probably the most brutal project in the MCU, as this does feel like it was written by Frank Castle himself. Well, technically it was, and Jon Bernthal co-wrote it. The music choices in this was really good, and the fight scenes, the action scenes were just epic to watch. While I do think it could have been much longer, I do think that this is a great reintroduction to Frank to make the fans want more. I can't wait to see what they do with him in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Overall, with the Punisher One Last Kill, it was a great Punisher project. Jon Bernthal once again continues to show that he is great as the Punisher, as it does set up for more with Frank Castle. But have you seen the Punisher One Last Kill? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below, and follow me for more.